The Upside Down Mice. Once upon a time, there lived an old man of 87, whose name was Laboon. All his life he had been a quiet and peaceful person. He was very poor, but very happy. When Laboon discovered that he had mice in his house, he did not at first bother himself greatly about it. But the mice multiplied. They began to bother him. They kept right on multiplying, and finally, there came a time when even he could stand it no longer.
This is too much. This really is going a bit too far.
He hobbled out of the house, down the road to a shop, where he bought himself some mouse traps, a piece of cheese, and some glue. When he got home, he put the glue on the underneath of the mouse traps and stuck them to the ceiling. Then he baited them carefully with pieces of cheese and set them to go off. That night, when the mice came out of their holes and saw the mouse traps on the ceiling, they thought it a tremendous joke. They walked around on the floor, nudging each other and pointing up with their front paws and roaring with laughter. After all, it was pretty silly, mouse traps on the ceiling. When Laboon came down the next morning and saw that there were no mice caught in the traps, he smiled but said nothing. He took a chair and put glue on the bottom of its legs and stuck it upside down to the ceiling, near the mouse traps. He did the same with the table, the television set and the lamp. He took everything that was on the floor and stuck it upside down on the ceiling. He even put a little carpet up there. The next night, when the mice came out of their holes, they were still joking and laughing about what they had seen the night before. But now, when they looked up at the ceiling, they stopped laughing very suddenly.
Good gracious me! Look up there, there's the floor. Heavens above, we must be standing on the ceiling.
All the blood's going to my head.
This is terrible. This is really terrible. We must do something about it at once. I shall faint if I have to stand on my head any longer. Me too.
I can't stand it.
Save us. Do something, somebody, quick.
They were getting most upset now.
I know what we'll do. We will all stand on our heads, then anyway we'll be the right way up.
Obediently, they all stood on their heads, and after a long time, one by one, they fainted from a rush of blood to their brains. When Laboon came down the next morning, the floor was littered with mice. Quickly, he gathered them up and popped them all in a basket. So, the thing to remember is this: whenever the world seems to be terribly upside down, make sure you keep your feet on the ground.